Justice Antonin Scalia is a very conservative justice. He claims to be very principled, and a lot of people respect him and call him brilliant, etc. That is not true. He is not brilliant. He is not principled, and I'm going to explain why right now. He recently said at the University of California Hastings College of Law speech, if the current society wants to outlaw discrimination by sex, you have legislatures, meaning he doesn't think that the Constitution prohibits sex discrimination. So if you want to say, hey, I don't want to hire women, or if they get pregnant, I want to fire them, or whatever other kind of discrimination you want to do based on sex, Antonin Scalia thinks that's perfectly constitutional. Well, you say, wait a minute, the 14th Amendment guarantees you due process and equal protection of the laws. He says, no, that was only meant for black people. Interesting opinion for a conservative to have. He says, no, I'm a strict interpretationist. And so, and look, I just stick to what the Constitution says. It doesn't matter what the politics of it is. Is that right? So equal rights do not apply to women, according to Antonin Scalia. Guess what he used the equal rights to apply to in another case? To make sure that George Bush would win the presidency in 2000 because he wouldn't be discriminated against by having votes counted in a different way in Broward County and Dade County within Florida. He said, well, that would be a violation of equal rights according to the 14th Amendment. No, it's not meant to protect women or, by the way, Latinos, Jews, anybody else, right? It's not meant to protect anybody outside of black folks and George W. Bush. What a joke Scalia is. What a sad, sad joke is. You know what else is sad? When I was a young conservative, and especially in judicial matters, I used to respect Scalia. I bought into the hype. I was like, oh, no, but he's principled, etc. And then as I was reading more and more of the cases when I was in law school and otherwise, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem to jive. Like, for example, on states' rights. He's like, oh, states' rights, absolutely. They can discriminate against black folks, no question about that. And if they want to pass laws against gay marriage, oh, that's states' rights. And then a case came out about pot and how some states said, hey, peyote is something that we have a tradition of here, and we're going to let the Native Americans do that. He said, no, you don't have any states' rights. What are you talking about? That's pot. Wait a minute, do you believe in states' rights or you don't? The guy has absolutely no principle. He's just doing it based on whatever his politics is. He doesn't like pot, so he's against it. He doesn't like euthanasia because his Sky guy told him that's wrong, so you don't have a states' rights to do that. But if his Sky God told him that to hate gay people, so he's like, oh, you have states' rights to hate gay people. Yes, you can do that. What a joke this guy is. And people take this guy seriously, like, oh, he's a respected jurist. God, oh, he is brilliant. Like, even back when I was a conservative, I knew who, I got it. I read his case. I was like, this guy isn't brilliant. He's ridiculous. Here, let me give you an example, right? Now, Scalia says, you know what? I am a strict interpretationist, and I think the Constitution is exactly the letter of the law, exactly as it was written, with the interpretation of the Founding Fathers, right? What they meant. So there's the other point of view that says, no, the Constitution is a living document, right? And it's meant to grow. That's why it has terms like due process. And it depends on what you mean by due process. And the job of the Supreme Court is to interpret that. Now, where do I stand on that, right? I stand for, yes, I'm not with the guys who say living document, the Constitution is meant to mean whatever the hell I think it means today politically, whether I'm a right-winger or a left-winger, right? And I don't believe in the strict interpretation. Why? Because back when the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution, people used to get whipped as punishment. Like they'd take a whip and they'd slash them in the back. Now, today that would be considered cruel and unusual punishment and a violation of the Eighth Amendment. So I guess according to Scalia, nope, the Constitution never changes. Whatever the Founding Fathers were, nope, to warrantless wiretapping, there were no telephones back then. So, okay, that's it. Does that mean you can or cannot do warrantless wiretapping? I'd have to do a mind meld with the Founding Fathers to try to find out. That's absurd. Of course we interpret it within the context of our time. At the same time, I am a conservative judicially in a lot of ways. I think Roe versus Wade is totally wrong. On a legal matter. Policy-wise, I love it. I think it was a brilliantly written law. I wish the legislator had wrote it, right? But the Supreme Court said, okay, now in the second trimester, the Constitution says, oh, come on, there's nothing about the trimesters in the Constitution. But I'm actually consistent on this. But Scalia, the least consistent guy in the world. So he says, nope, strict interpretation, right? So, for example, free speech, okay? It's meant to apply to the press and to individuals and also to corporations. What are you talking about? The Founding Fathers were so scared of big business interests. They wrote pamphlet after pamphlet, watch out for big business! They never intended for freedom of speech to apply for corporations to be considered human beings and have the rights of the First Amendment and have freedom of speech rights, in other words, rights to spend as much money as possible to buy all the politicians. Thomas Jefferson is rolling in his grave about that idea. James Madison, George, all of them. This guy pretends to be a strict interpretationist. He's not. He's a fraud of the highest order. Stop taking him seriously. Instead, what Scalia does is, what do the Republicans want? Well, they want Bush in office? Yeah, screw that. Equal protection. All right, we don't like women, right? No, they don't get equal protection, right? Gays. So what does Sky God say? Sky God, how shall I write the laws? Oh, you don't like gays. Gays, no, they're not protected by the Constitution. You know that in Lawrence v. Texas, in his dissent, Scalia said that the government should have a right to outlaw masturbation? Yeah, good. So he doesn't want the government getting between you and your doctor, for example, in healthcare, et cetera, like the conservatives say, as an example. But he wants the government to get between you and your hand. Come on, man. What a fraud all of these guys are. Sky God, what should I do about masturbation? Oh, they were against that. No states' rights, right? And then, of course, whoever's paying the bills, hey, big corporations, well, who do I need to service? What's going on? Yeah, of course, you guys have all the rights in the world. Stop taking these guys seriously. And what I can't stand is the idea that these guys are brilliant. They're not brilliant. They're doing the same demagoguery, tricks, judicial activism, unprincipled garbage that they've been doing all of this time. Scalia, please, don't buy into the hype. They hype up guys like this just so they can get their corporatist ways.